Good day to you folks and welcome to the final episode, the wrap-up of the Macclesfield town journey. Not quite as intended, this save, but I felt it was worth finishing off, giving it some sort of send-off before we enter the FM20 chasm, if you like. So we will commit Macclesfield town to memory. It's been 20 years in charge of the club, although we only got about 7 episodes, and there'll be no actual Football Manager gameplay in this video. If you're waiting for that, you've got a long wait ahead because there won't be any. It's a bit of a, it's just one of them things. It never really clicked as an interest point for me to continue to do the videos. Time-wise, it just didn't suit. But obviously, 20 years with one club, that rarely happens in FM. So I'm pleased with that at least. And let's get on with the first reviews. This is how we'll be reviewing the seasons. We're not going to obviously look at fixtures or anything. We've got a few pointers, a few highlights from each, if you like, season. The best performers of the squad, the players we used. It's basically the best 11 that you get awarded. Plus, obviously, we'll have a look at the league table, which you can see. So they'll all follow this kind of what's the word? Format. That's the word we're looking for. So we kicked off 2018-19. Not a great season, but a very good season if you consider Macclesfield Town favourites for relegation, finishing 9th in League Two. Not far outside the playoffs, of course. That goes down to 7th place, so we only finished 4 points adrift of the playoffs, scoring 97 goals, but an alarming record of 78 goals conceded, second highest in the top half. Second highest in the top half. I thought we'd just got Port Vale maybe, but no, we're even ahead of the Valiants down there. You can see highest attendance. We did get a capacity crowd in for the Everton Cup tie. I think that was capacity anyway at the time, back at the Moss Rose Stadium. We do move on from the Moss Rose in a few years' time. We'll cover that. Best performers for us on your right side. You can see there you got lots of goals from Ben Stevens, Jordan Ponticelli on loan as well. Danny Whittaker, the veteran, only really kept on as a contracted player because we need at least one academy graduate in the squad. He retired after this, and he's actually still on the staff even today in 2038. So Danny Whittaker, a club legend, no less. Biggest win was 6-1 victory over Forest Green, who went on to be relegated, as you'll see, a 6-1 victory there. Ben Stevens, as we've mentioned, 28 goals for him. And Elliot Durrell, a club legend, 13 assists for him. Danny Whittaker getting the best rating and winning Fans Player of the Year. 7.25 from his 35 appearances. Not amazing from 35 games, you'd think, but good enough to win Player of the Season, and quite right too. He scored us some monumental goals, some great free kicks. Always seemed to have his hand in. Can't ask for any more from an ageing player as he was. Then on to 2019-20, still in League Two, but you can see they're champions, and there's the trophy bottom right-ish of your screen. We collected our first piece of silverware. It wouldn't be the last. We go up to League One with 114 points, scoring 151 goals, still conceding quite a few, but with a plus goal difference of 89. Certainly nothing to worry about there. You can see all of our players averaging over 7.0. Even the goalkeeper, Luke Simpson, is getting a 7.01 out of 51 appearances. Very impressive. Highest attendance. In fact, no, the Everton game wasn't a capacity, clearly. 4,818 for a league tie against Wycombe. Also relegated this season. And an 8-1 victory over Notts County, proving to be the high point in terms of scorelines. Notts County promoted along with us, along with Bradford and Swindon. So that's a sign of the gulf, perhaps. Ben Stevens with 37 goals all told. Elliot Durrell this time picking up 26 assists, which equipped him to be basically the top performer. 7.74 from 52 appearances, a ridiculous average rating, plus winning Fans Player of the Year along the way. Kudos to him. Elliot Durrell and Ben Stevens, sort of the benchmark for the future, and no one's really matched it. The fans love those players more than anyone else, and I quite like that. But that FM, the older players have still been the ones that have sort of captured the imagination of the players, or rather the fans, and those are the players that you remember, the hard times as well as the good. First season in League One, we didn't stay there too long. We're winning promotion to the Championship with 97 points. Bit of a tougher time. 9 defeats this time round, but we adapted well. You can see some of the average ratings a little bit lower, but obviously you'd expect that. We didn't have any money to bring in any players. But good performance. Dominic Hughes, a Gibraltarian goalkeeper that we signed for very little money, I think £1,000. Weirdly, you get this in FM. We released him a few years later down the line, and he just retired. No one offered him a contract. This guy had made 30, 40 appearances for Gibraltar, had been in a promotion-winning side in the League One. Surely he would have found a club, but there you go. Record attendance, obviously the Moss Rose expanded this time around, I think anyway. Either that or we just didn't fill it, I'm pretty sure. A part of me is now thinking that capacity in the Moss Rose is around 6,000 as it stands, but maybe I'm wrong, maybe we did expand it slightly. I just can't imagine, we didn't have that much cash, so it's difficult to remember going back 20 odd years in game, but 5,911 for a fourth round cup tie against Aston Villa. I think we lost, sadly, but we did record a fine victory over Wimbledon of the AFC variety, 6-1. Ben Stevens, top goal scorer yet again, 23 goals. Anthony Gordon, left winger, brought in with 11 assists. And again, player of the season thanks to a 7.17 average rating from his 55 appearances. Standout performers from the squad, probably Elvis Buomono, who I do not remember, Paul Mackay and Cameron Humphreys. Cameron Humphreys, of course, a Manchester City graduate. Giovanni McGregor in midfield, Anthony Gordon, as we've mentioned, and Ben Stevens with Marcus Barnes in support. As I say, not so many amazing performances. You see Alec Durrell has sort of found his level. Nathan D'Alfonso, player perhaps recognisable. Callum Evans as well. So players that you have in your squad, but not amazing. Dan Ward was a good player for us as well. 46 games, 5 goals, 6.91 this season. Probably on his way out as we approach the Championship in 2021-22. And we managed to finish 8th, which again is an impressive display considering we have very little money. 4 points outside the playoffs. We did bring in a player that would last for a long time with us, and still, again, probably one of my favourite players, Callum Johnston, Scottish striker, Scottish international he turned out. Bought him in for a couple of £1 million from Hibernian, I think it was, and he did very well. Scoring 21 goals here, winning the Fans Player of the Year and achieving the highest rating in the squad, 7.15 from 41 appearances. Record attendance again at the just under 6,000 against Bolton. A memorable 5-0 victory over Middlesbrough. And Johnston's, as I say, he's got 21 goals there. And George Tanner, the right winger, I think he is. Is he? George Tanner? In fact, he was a right back, so he just was excellent at crossing from the right back position. Getting 12 assists. There's a few players that we bought in. Obviously, we loaned in Kelleher from Liverpool in goal. Harry Souttar, the Stoke City centre-half. I know him well as a Stoke City fan. Brought him in for no money at all, and he becomes a bit of a stalwart. Jake Vokins did well. Corey Smith, Jacob Davenport, Andre Teixeira, Dion Pereira, Callum Gribbin. I think he's a popular choice in this kind of rags to riches kind of tale. Daniel Ajayi, good players, decent players, and we did quite. Like I say, I was pleased with the 8th place, and that set us up nicely to go into the next campaign where we managed to finish in the playoffs 3rd. It did look as though we might actually achieve automatic promotion, but we were pipped to it by Derby, Norwich runaway leaders, perhaps with 96 points to our 91, and we lost in the playoffs. Crystal Palace eventually promoted a team 17 points behind us in the league, but would we have been ready for the Premier League? Probably we'd have done all right, but the extra year in the Championship, as you'll see, did all right for us. Callum Johnston, again, the pick of the bunch, 24 goals for him, and 17 for a young striker, Grant Young-Husband Woods, on loan from Arsenal. Some good players, some good. Nikola Kalinic as well, we bought in as a bit of an experienced player. You'll know him from his time at perhaps Wolves? No, Hull, the other team that wears gold or orange, if you like. And you can see the Moss Rose slightly expanding now, 8,500 in for the game against Sheffield Wednesday. And a 5-1 victory over Bristol City, the high point in terms of goals. Callum Johnston, as I say, 24 goals, and Jake Vokins at left back, getting 14 assists. Harry Souttar there with his with the pick of the average rating, 7.22 from 47 for him. He's an absolute giant of a man. Callum Johnston, yet again, player of the season, and rightly so. And 2023-24, a season that you'd look as a bit of a turning point in the fortunes of the squad. We've managed to clinch promotion, 104 points, just 6 defeats, scoring 111 goals, and most of those coming from Callum Johnston, yet again, 32 for him. What a man, what a mighty fine man. And the Moss Rose again expanded to just under 12,500, and we did get a capacity crowd. I'm sure we got it a few times against fellow promoted side Newcastle, who finished 21 points behind us. What a season it was. 6-0 victory over Reading, the pick of the bunch. Reading fell very short of the required mark. 27 points for them, relegated to League One. Callum Johnston's goals there, 32 as we mentioned, and Jake Vokins again the assist man. 12 assists for him, with Dion Pereira on the left wing getting a 7.35 from his 46 appearances to earn him Fans Player of the Year. Mason Greenwood is a player that you might recognise. He made it onto our subs bench in the best 11. Never really set as a light. I was hoping that we did get promoted, but he was never really a player that I saw leading us into the Premier League campaign. And we'll see who we did go for in 2024-25. You can see we managed to finish in a ridiculously high 6th position, qualifying for the Europa League and a bit of the riches and attractiveness that it brings. And a crowd of 16,000 joined us to watch us beat Huddersfield. The stadium obviously expanded to meet Premier League approval. And a few players that we brought in, obviously we had to rely on the loans system. We brought in a couple that we signed permanently, Ekwara Limbe, who went on to play for a lot of times for us, Ryan Nyambe, Kevin Rodriguez, James Garner, the Manchester United youngster. Signed a few players on frees as well, I think Heriberto Tavares, Carl Halford, Daniel Amafuele, who, apologies, Danny Bartali Skip came in for a very short price, and great young husband Woods was back for another season. A 5-1 victory over Tottenham. You don't get too many of those as a newly promoted side, but Johnston with 23 goals in his maiden Premier League campaign, very good. Tavares with 11 assists. Didn't really expect him to make the step up, but he did. And James Garner winning Fans Player of the Year, thanks to 7.30 average rating from 33 games. He sadly didn't join us on a permanent deal after the end of his loan spell. Even though his contract had expired, he joined Valencia and was never heard of again. In 2025-26, things took not a step back, but we finished 7th, so outside of the European places. Obviously European football took its toll. We finished with 64 points. Some good performances though, new strikers coming in, including Alvaro Munoz, on loan, I think this lad was from Real. Scored 24 times for us, still eclipsed by Callum Johnston, the young Scot. 16,000 saw us beat Everton, or play Everton, I can't remember the scoreline as you might expect. But we did beat Swansea by 7-2 in the high point of the season in EFL Cup semi-final. We went on to lift the trophy that year, which is why we picture it there. That's our trophy little cabinet space down there. Johnston, as we say, 32 goals. Munoz also got in with the assists, so 24 goals for him, the 11 assists. And Ekwara Limbe, 7.22 from 53 appearances, but not enough to take the Fans Player of the Year title away from Callum Johnston, who won it yet again and was writing himself into a bit of Macclesfield Town folklore as 2026-27, but with its renewed hope for European football, and we did achieve that in 5th place this season. Still some distance behind the eventual leaders, and you can see the title won on goal difference by Manchester United over Liverpool. But Arsenal, the team ahead of us, 6 points ahead of us. We couldn't quite get there. And you can see Callum Johnston starting to decline slightly. 11 goals just for him, but we did bring in a new front man, Kieran Ford, the Irish striker from Norwich. Cost a fair bit of money, £40-odd million, but we repaid that with us 37 goals. And you can see, if we just jump ahead and look at those bottom 4 those bottom 4 little awards: top goal scorer, most assists, average rating, and Fans Player of the Year. Kieran Ford absolutely dominant in those areas. 37 goals, 12 assists, and a 7.46 from his 54 appearances. Worthy winner of Fans Player of the Year. Full capacity crowd, multiple times you'd expect in the Premier League. It's going to be that way. There's only a few variations in attendances, and I'll explain those as we go. But Bournemouth has been picked out as being the high point. That's probably the first capacity crowd we got. The biggest win was in Europa League qualifying, unexpectedly, or rather unsurprisingly. Luxembourg side, Janusz Diesch with a 9-0 victory. That won't be the highest score of our career, and it won't be a Europa League team that we dispatch, nor a Premier League side. Some decent players. Jules Faye came in as well. He's centre-half there along with Ekwara Limbe. We struggled to find a good centre-half partner for him. And we did have Ross McCrory, who came in and was injured a little bit, so that's probably why he was on the bench for the team of the year. Very good player. And Garrett O'Connor will feature heavily as we go through the years. You can see them there on the bench. Signed for just £9 million from Chelsea, went on to make over 350 appearances for us, and made his way into the first team selection in 2028. You can see the Moss Rose expanded now as we got just under 29,000 against Arsenal, and a 6-0 victory over Tottenham. That's twice now that we've put lots of goals past there. Kieran Ford, the main man, 30 times hitting the back of the net, and Oliver Batista Meyer with 13 assists, leading the way as the creative man. Kieran Ford, 7.38 from 45 appearances, wins that Plans Player of the Year yet again, and we finished second, 1 point behind eventual winners Arsenal. Same goal difference, but just a few more conceded. It looked as though we might pip them to it, but it was themselves, Arsenal, who pipped us to it. And we go into the Champions League. You can see there's a few recognisable names that you might have had in your saves, like Pellegrini. That's probably it, to be honest. I think the rest are pretty much new gens. I don't know about John Rowlands. I don't remember him at all, to be honest. But there you go. Christian Fructal is a good goalkeeper. Nenad Pentelic, good players. 28-29. We slipped down. Champions League football took its toll. We've slipped down to 5th place, 10 points off 4th place, but it was a very hotly contested title. Look at that top 4, just 2 points between the top 4. 3 teams on 86 with United out in front on 88. We did have the second highest goal difference in the league with 51, scoring more and conceding less than most of the sides above us, but wasn't to be our year. And you can see 55,000 the average attendance, the highest attendance against Man City. That is a home attendance, but we played this season at the Etihad. The reason being Moss Rose being demolished and a new stadium, the Steve Burr Stadium, has been built in its place. So that's why the attendance is so high in contrast to the previous year. Biggest win, 5-0 victory over Bolton, with Ford scoring 33 goals. New signing Iker Arteaga getting 17 assists. Kieran Ford winning Fans Player of the Year yet again, 7.24 from 48 appearances. What a legend he's turning out to be. You can't argue with it. Into the new decade, into the 2030s, we go 2029-30, and we win our first Premier League title and indeed our first FA Cup. So a bit of a domestic double there. 43,000. That's how many now come into the Steve Burr Stadium, newly opened, and we got the best attendance of the year against Liverpool. Guarantee you we sold out many times, if not all 19 times. We beat Red Star Belgrade by 7-0 in the Europa League group stage. Cancio scoring 33 goals. Pellegrini with 12 assists from left back. Garrett O'Connor, that centre midfielder that we mentioned, signed so cheaply from Chelsea. 7.2 from 44 appearances. And Helvin Cancio, Brazilian striker, signed for just £9 million from Monaco, getting Fans Player of the Year. 33 goals for him. 25 goals for on loan Arsenal striker Ryan Doolan, the Irishman. And Kieran Ford, you can see slipping perhaps a little bit. 47 appearances, just 19 goals. You have to remember that a lot of our facilities were not Premier League quality, and that might explain why some of the players didn't quite hit the ground or hit the heights that they might have if they'd been training at a better equipped club. Next year, finished second. We did win the Community Shield, but who cares? You can see we lost the title to Manchester City on goal difference, but Manchester City's 71 goal difference compared to our 59. You have to hold your hands up and just say, unlucky. See, the average attendance, or rather the highest attendance, did dip. That's because the Steve Burr Stadium, despite just being a year old, is being upgraded. So one of the stands was completely shut for the entire season, and we managed to just get 35,000 in for every game. Cardiff, the one picked out here, who knows why. 7-1 victory over Leicester, the high point. Having Cancio with 35 goals, Pavão, a Brazilian winger, 15 assists, and Austrian right back Rudolf Schragl scoring, winning himself Fans Player of the Year thanks to a 7.38 average rating from 46 appearances. Iker Cancio, 35 goals. Edward Bennis, English, he's an absolute giant of a man, scoring 18. And again, Kieran Ford has to make the other place on the team of the season bench. And it's a familiar look inside now, especially in defence. Pontus Dahlberg, the Swedish goalkeeper, you might have him in your save. He's a good one if you can go for him. But Schragl, McCrory, Pantelic and Pellegrini would become a bit of a staple. In 2032, that remained the same, except Wagner came in on a free from AC Milan, scoring 52 appearances and getting himself 14 assists. We jumped ahead slightly, but we did finish second, 6 points adrift this time of Manchester City. So we're sort of nailing down a Champions League place. That's great, it brings in the money. You can see 57,588, that's capacity, and we've not managed to upgrade that in the next 8 years. And there is the high point of all of our entire campaign. In charge of Macclesfield, a 10-0 victory over Brentford, 10-0 victory in the Premier League. A ridiculous scoreline over Brentford. who managed to avoid relegation on the final day and have actually become quite a stable Premier League side themselves, jumping ahead again. Limine Camara, the Italian striker, we brought him in, very young striker. Big concerns over Kieran Ford ability as he sort of degrading. You can see he doesn't even make he's still part of the squad, but he didn't even make the team of the season despite dominating those early years in his career with us. He never quite got back to the standard that we sort of saw the best from him early, and then he sort of Michael Owened on us. Nenad Pentelic, 7.43 from 46 appearances, and Rudolf Schwagel, that right back, going on to lift Fans Player of the Year. Can't argue with it at all. It was a great season. It just wasn't topped off with a title win, but it did win the FA Cup, so we did get some silverware. The following season, we returned back to the top of the Premier League, 90 points, lifting the title, this time ourselves ahead of Manchester City by 8 points. 57,000 again, the capacity, a 7-1 victory over Leverkusen in the first knockout round of the Champions League, being the high point in terms of biggest wins. Cancio with 40 goals this time. Wagner, left back, 17 assists. Cancio getting 7.63 from his 52 games and winning Fans Player of the Year. Absolutely his best season, without a doubt. He was brought in as a backup, and that's the best thing about it, is that he was never really expected. He was sort of going to be the foil for Kieran Ford, and Kieran Ford obviously at this point is now gone. I think we sold him at this point to I think he went to Spain, and he's actually now playing for Zenit, and he's not good. He's not good anymore. But yeah, Limine Camara and Cancio scoring there, 71 times between them. Jorn Eberhard, German striker, coming in. He's got just 14 goals there in 30. I say just, that's basically 1 in 2. That's not too bad. And we won the Premier League title. Didn't win anything else, but it was, it's a case of getting what we can. You can see there the defence by far the best in Leeds, just 26 conceded, with Furkan Kara, Turkish goalkeeper, his first season in the Premier League with us. Following season, we again lift the title, 96 points this time, 6 points clear of Arsenal. So you can see, we're starting to exert our dominance a little bit. A 6-0 victory over Napoli, the best as it got in terms of goals. Lamine Camara this time with 33 goals leading the way. Garrett O'Connor, 14 assists for him. Camara winning the Fans Player of the Year with a 7.48 from his 47 games. Alvin Cancio, a little bit of a dip down to 22 goals. Can't really complain. Arteaga getting 13 with Gökhan Yildirim, Dutch centre midfielder, scoring 10 times from the centre of the park. And Arnaud Poisson, or Poison, getting 6 goals from centre half. A good season. We won the double, if you can call it that, but a Premier League title is all we really wanted. We got the Charity Shield as well. 34-35 season, we managed to maintain our league position. You can see we absolutely ran away with it this time. 104 points to 85 down in Arsenal, so basically 20 points clear. Capacity crowds all season, and 9-0 over Brentford. So we've, in 2 Premier League games over 3 years, we put 19 goals past Brentford at the Steve Burr Stadium. They must be sick of the sight of us. 34 goals for Cancio, just 10 assists, the leading number. Ike Arteaga getting that, the Spanish left winger. Johnny Mutombo, the Belgian centre-half, very young, but coming in, getting Fans Player of the Year, 7.32 from 50 appearances. So you see, no one really blowing it away, but it was a great team. Guilherme at right-back, Tommy Cottrell left-back, El Hadj Diallo, a young French winger. We just had a good team spirit about us. You can see there at the bottom, Trent Alexander-Arnold. We bought him in for 1 season on the back of his career. And there's Sebastian Marianne just appearing there. He's a difficult first season in the Premier for him. Big money sign for his French striker. Signed because of concerns over Lamine Camara's future, which I think in 35-36 he's gone. So let's jump ahead. Indeed he is. He went to PSG for big money, over £100 million. And you can see we missed out on this league title by goal difference again. So that's the second time that's happened to us. But 10 goal the swing. So it wasn't 1 or 2, it was 10. And there's perhaps a lack of goals coming from certain positions there. Centre midfield, right midfield, not a huge number of goals. 7-0 victory over Benfica, so we're scoring well in Europe. Sebastian Marianne getting 36 goals, Wagner 12 assists. Johnny Mutombo, highest average rating was 7.42 from his 31 appearances, so I think he and Taborda sort of rotated in centre defence. And Arnaud Poisson getting Fans Player of the Year. 36 goals, as we say, for Marianne. 24 for new Portuguese striker Mario Silva, but not too many more. Ike Arteaga getting 19 goals, and Carlos Navarro with 10. So as I say, Wagner I mean, I think he's played 300 times for us and only scored 2 goals. So nothing from really in defence. So that took us then into 2036-37. It's a delight to win a title by 24 points after having missed out on one by goal difference. An 8-1 victory over Manchester City. Perhaps that's the high point. But Manchester City, perhaps not the force that they were, finishing with just 63 points outside of Europe entirely. Different class. Sebastian Marian scoring 32 goals. Carsten Fieldsum, a right back from Denmark, 17 assists. We're not going to say Sebeko's first name because I don't know how you do it, but 7.5 from 46 appearances for him, and Fieldsum winning player of the season. I'd have given it to Sebeko personally, but there you go. You can see a lot more goals coming from different positions there. Fabio Paulista, 14 from the centre midfield. Juan Figueroa, 13 from left wing. Sebeko with 18 right wing. Marian with 32, as we said. Mario Silva scoring 31. Not many in the bench players, so not many game changers, if you like, but enough goals in attack for us to absolutely dominate in terms of goal difference. No team got near us this year, and we won the Premier League, the FA Cup, and on the back of our Champions League victory last season, scoring the Champions League, the World Club Cup rather, and the UEFA Super Cup. So a big trophy haul in 36-37. 37-38, the trend continued, and we wrapped up even more trophies. This is the final season of the save. It's absolutely it. This is how we finished. We beat Salzburg by 6-0. Sebastian Marian scoring 38 times. Sebeko 15 assists. Marian, fans player of the year, my player of the year, my player of the save probably. 7.41 from 52 appearances. What a man. What a man. Always linked with Real Madrid. Never once asked to leave. We've got players coming through. Raheem Maloney, young English striker we signed from Celtic. He scored past us twice in the Champions League a few seasons ago, so we signed him. Following the Alex Ferguson method there. Warren Hall-Crowe, he's English as well. Signed him from France. Don't know what he was doing there, but a left winger, he's coming through nicely. And Richard Eaton, English left back. So we're looking after the English future. What more can you say? Winning the Premier League, the Champions League, yet again the FA Cup, the League Cup, and the Charity Shield. So we've won everything there is to win in England there. And the Charity Shield, of course, if you want to win that, and the Champions League as well. You can't ask for much more. It's been an absolutely fantastic time. All I can say is, come on, you Siltmen. Hopefully they'll be able to replicate my success at some stage, although I don't know, maybe they just need to get me in charge. They did beat Port Vale by 2-1 just the other day, though, so things aren't that bad. If you have watched any of the episodes of this series, then thank you, and I apologise. It's not been a genuine save, really, on a Football Manager. I'll be attempting to do a lot better with Newcastle in the beta. We'll be doing a Magpies revival, so do look out for that. And we'll be doing a Euro Hectic, which is a bit of a European journeyman, if you like. And that'll be on the main stage, so that'll start soon after the full release of Football Manager. And I'll look forward to seeing you then. Take care and goodbye.